Hey gamers, I am the Bad Luck Gamer, and today I'm going to be talking about history hooks and story hooks for your campaign. Now, one of the things about this is that, first and foremost, what a character wants in a game is for their character to feel important in some manner or fashion. But other than that, what a character wants is for their characters to feel special. So, what you can do as a GM is give a player a history hook. Something in their past comes back to bite them, or make it something random or apparently random, depending on what kind of GM style you have, and make it so that you take the character out, you say, okay, so you had a dream about something in your past and you saw these demonic faces. You wake up and you see this burning sigil in your hand that slowly fades away. And then leave them with that. And the character is instantly hooked and they're instantly really curious about what they want, what the sigil is about. And it makes them so much more involved in the game because they're going to be trying to figure it out. On top of that, try to focus on history hooks that hook into their past so the characters are developed by the things you do. And as the GM, you have to do this. You have to do this for your players, and it has to be something they don't know about at first because then they're intrigued. If it's a history thing that the character came up with, then it's kind of not as exciting because they already kind of know about it. So as a GM, you tell them what it is. And for players, give your GM something to work off of as far as your character's history or what you want your character to do. For instance, talk to your GM and be like, I want to rival this game. I'm going to make a rival, or I want some rival to appear. Then that is kind of the story element of your character. Another thing that can be done is, I would like to be a part of like building a kingdom, or I want to lead a tribe, or I want to have a group of followers. Come up with a theme. What one game does it is they have short-term goals and long-term goals for your character. I don't necessarily like the idea because it makes it seem more like this needs to be done. It's more like I have an idea for what I want for my character to happen. How are you going to do this for me? So that's something you kind of want to do. Also, as a character and as a player, don't be afraid to interact with the other players and make it a story hook between your two characters. If for instance, and as a GM, I've done this as well. I've hooked up two players, like their characters in game, and that became a huge story element, and that became one of the most memorable parts of the entire story. So it was a story hook, and it was very unexpected by the players, but they ended up loving it instead. So there you go. And players, try to hook another player into it. See what they say. See what they do. I think it'd be super interesting. There's not really much more I can say about this. I'm sorry, this is a super short video. I just kind of want to, let me give some hints or let me give some examples to kind of show you guys what I kind of mean. Kind of. So one thing a player can do is, like, I have this puzzle box. I've had this puzzle box, found it in my grandparents' attic. And for for years, I've been trying to open it and I've never been able to. The box is also extremely sturdy. I don't know what's in it. Then the GM can take that and be like, okay, so this is either a red herring that I can totally play with the player and, like, I've seen that box. And then in the end they find out, like, oh yeah, there was this one toy maker who made it. And when you open it up, it's just like a little spinning doll. That's kind of a slap in the face of the player. I wouldn't do that necessarily, but I think it'd be funny at the same time. Another way the GM could take it is like, oh, okay, well, this actually plays into the character's destiny. They were meant to find this box, and opening this box, they find a sorcerer or a wizard's ring, his arcane item, his arcane binding. And when you put the ring on, bam, instant access to, like, a few first level, second level spells. Like, the player would blow his mind over that and be like, oh my god, GM, thank you so much. Another thing you could possibly do is, like, I have with me a baby black panther, and I've been caring for this panther. And in game, the panther is a young panther, And there you go. Instant story element. The Panther itself doesn't do anything because it's still a young, very young Panther, but it's a very good story element. The GM can make it so maybe one day you find the Panther's mother that recognizes it somehow. Or maybe the Panther was a part of some black, black market and the rich guy sees it and he's like, that's my Panther. And then sends thugs to go get your Panther. Maybe he captures it. And then the players have to go get the Panther. So they've all fallen for its cute and adorable charms. Another good one is, what's a very common one that players do? I'm going to have to cut this out. Shards of a weapon. The player has found early on in their history or somewhere along the line shards of this weapon, but the shards have this abnormal quality that the players can't quite identify. Well, the players will eventually come across the rest of the shards, and then bam, really badass weapon. I think that's a really cool idea. I think that's something that people should work with. So go ahead. Anyway, if you have any other suggestions, please leave a message in the comments below. Share with everyone else what your ideas might be, and then I'll kind of try my own stuff as well. Anyway, good luck with your story plots and history hooks, and ciao for now, gamers.